Hi, I'm Jamie Hartman with New Route South Jersey at eXp Realty. I'm here with Ryan Goldberg, VP of Lending at Guaranteed Rate, and he's here to answer all of your mortgage questions. There has been so much confusion about the mortgage industry. Ryan, thank you so much for being here and addressing all of our questions.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Appraisal. Let's talk about that, because the appraisal is such a hot topic right now.
It is. Yes,
and we're starting to see a shift in the market where buyers are not offering to cover the appraisal waiver anymore. They're not willing to cover the difference between if a property doesn't appraise properly. So talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, so huge topic, and yes, it is becoming less of a thing to cover any gaps, which I've noticed a lot lately, which is good and bad, I guess, right? Good for buyers, bad for sellers, but the market is not calling for it anymore, doesn't need it. And so appraisals, first of all, the lender you choose, as you had mentioned before, a local lender is so important because you can actually have a local appraiser come as well. If you get an outside company from another state or outside of your local area, they may be finding some lender that is from the northern part of your state or from the western or eastern, whatever. They're not from your area, and it's hard to be able to have an appraiser who's not from your area know the market. So it has a huge impact. But we also have a big thing that's been coming around called property inspection waivers, and or a PIW. They're becoming very, very big as well. So buyers that are buying not in the jumbo space and that are putting down usually, somewhere between 15 to 20, 25% down, they're actually getting pretty lucky with getting appraisal waivers where they actually don't even need to get an appraisal. So we save them the $500 to $600 on the appraisal fee. They save the hassle of having to worry about the house coming in at value, and they can just state the value of the house, and we can go forward with that.
So how does one know if they will have an appraisal waiver or not?
You have to check in with your lender. So good lender lets you know that. I have a lot of different tools. I have tools and programs that will let us know if we'll get a waiver at a certain price, at a certain down payment. But ultimately, other lenders won't know it until they actually run it through one of the two automated underwriting systems, or AUSs. You have to run it through those to be able to figure out whether or not you get that appraisal waiver or not.
So just to back up, when it comes to the appraisal, the bank sends an independent person to appraise what the property is worth. And ultimately, wherever the buyer is under contract, it is important to come into alignment with where that appraiser states the value is, so that we can move forward in the transaction without any additional negotiation. So what Ryan is talking about is that he, instead of inputting the property and ultimately sending an appraiser out, he puts the property into a system that is a Fannie Mae system, if I'm correct?
Fannie or Freddie.
Mm-hmm. And ultimately will determine the market value, AI,
Yep.
and will save you that money on the appraisal. So either way, your property is still getting appraised, but you are not actually physically paying for that appraiser to come out.
Yeah. And again, like I said, we do have some tools, and there may be some other lenders out there that have the same tools to be able to look before you actually run it through the automated underwriting system to see if you're going to get a waiver.
Got it. And if you do ultimately not qualify for the waiver, but have an appraiser come out, what is the timeline process for that?
Yeah, so timelines, they typically can run between 10 to 15 days to have it scheduled, ordered, scheduled, and have the appraiser go out and actually have the report drawn up and sent back to us.
Right, and that is from the time that the buyer secures their application.
Correct.
So what I tell my sellers a lot is it's super important to price your property in alignment with where that appraised value is, because let's say it takes 3 weeks. It takes a week for the buyer to submit their application. It takes 3 more weeks after that to send out an appraiser. You are often not learning about your appraised value until maybe a month, 5-6 weeks after you have already secured your buyer and a buyer's under contract. So it is really important to make sure that everyone is within the same price range.
Absolutely, but I think I would probably have my head on a stick if you let me go that long without getting an appraisal back. So we try to get it done quickly
Well,
and
within
efficiently.
the height of the market,
But,
definitely
yes.
their appraisers were bombarded. We have definitely seen more of a turnaround time now, but it's, the appraisers are human and their schedules are really busy these days. So it's just important to know you are not going to be getting your appraisal the same week that you submit your application.
Absolutely not.
I think that's the biggest takeaway here.
I couldn't agree more. Absolutely.
Ryan, thank you so much for taking the time to be here. Mortgage questions are so important, and I really appreciate you enlightening us on all of these topics.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me. I really do appreciate it.
And remember, I'm Jamie Hartman with New Route South Jersey at eXp Realty. Have a question? Reach out to me. Have a mortgage-related question? Reach out to Ryan. And thanks so much for joining us.